Hey, Gen X. So I noticed one of the trending searches today is about all of the drugstores closing. And then I started thinking, well, why does that matter? Because we don't need them. But then all of a sudden, I'm starting, me and my OCD going down this rabbit hole of trying to figure out now, wait a minute. What about if we do need them? If they've all, started closing down, then what do we do? And then I started doing some research, and here's just some numbers in case you're interested. So it looks like, and it's not just the CVS, it's not just Walgreens, it's CVS, Walgreens, Rite Aid, closing hundreds of stores, hundreds of them. And it says that CVS plans to close 271 this year, adding to the 900 that they already closed down. I had no idea. Now, to me, it kind of seems like, okay, I'm okay with that because one, I'm not a big fan of big corporate America. I shop small when I can, and I believe that we all should do that because we need to support the small businesses so that they stop becoming these 1% billionaires that don't give a crap about the rest of us. But that's my soapbox, and we'll go into that some other time maybe. But that they're saying that they're unprofitable, that they're just not making the money. Well, yeah, because you made superstores out of a drugstore. Unless it's Walgreens midnight Christmas Eve, I'm not going to Walgreens to go shopping. Maybe other people do go to Walgreens or to the CVS or whatever just to shop. Do you go there just to shop? Like get your groceries and stuff? Because I don't. I wouldn't get groceries at, the CVS. Now, maybe in big cities it's different because if you're walking and that's the closest store, maybe in those cases. But in most cases, I'm in the Midwest and we just don't. I don't. But thanks for staying open at midnight on Christmas Eve. We'll see you then. That's literally the only time that I would be there if I hadn't planned ahead for Christmas. But they're also saying that they're getting lower reimbursements because pharmacy benefit managers are squeezing profits. I did not go down that rabbit hole. Honestly, I don't care. If you want to go down that rabbit hole, go ahead a little bit. But the reason was that they're saying that the prescription reimbursements for pharmacy benefit managers are squeezing profits. Sorry. Yeah. The other thing that they're saying is the competition from online retailers. This is a key from Amazon and from, so like your if you have insurance coverage, your work may even suggest that you get your medication in 90-day increments. So you're only going there every 90 days and then you have it delivered to your door. So I'm sorry, who wouldn't do that if that were an option, as opposed to going in and being, treated like crap by the people behind the counter? I've not usually, and I usually when I go in, I usually put on my happiest face, and because I get that they don't love their life or their job, but if they're not going to treat us decent, why are we going to keep going into the stores? We're just not. I'm not. So I'm sorry, big drugstores. I think that's your own fault. Yeah, but so if you're going to like Amazon now, which or even the grocery stores, I've never used a grocery store for my prescriptions, but if you go in to get your groceries, why wouldn't you just swing over to that little counter at the grocery store and pick it up if it's not that much more expensive? But again, I have my groceries delivered too, so I'm a big fan of having my stuff just thrown to my door. They're saying that overexpansion has led to market saturation. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Duh. When you've got a drugstore on every corner of major intersections in your cities, and sometimes, especially near the hospitals, you've got 5 or 6 of them right there. Why? Who needs that many? And now we've got in rural areas, though, because they made these big box stores made such crappy decisions to oversaturate. Now they're pulling out of the rural areas where they may be the only game in town, and those people actually need the drugstore to stay open. and they're closing those too. So that kind of sucks, because if you're in a rural area where you may need to have that one or two to choose from because it may not be available here and you may have to go here. I do have a friend who she has to drive like the next town over to get medicine, and that makes me sad. I feel bad for them, but go to Amazon, I guess. I don't know. And I'm not a big fan of Amazon right now because of what they're doing. So my Prime is on pause, if that tells you where I stand. Their other thing is operational challenges, including increased theft, and they're impacting the store viability. I haven't had or heard of stories around us where, and I'm like in the Louisville, New Albany area, in Indiana. So I haven't heard of our stores being robbed or anything like that. But I imagine it does happen. You know, I mean, anytime you're going to stockpile a shit ton of farms, you know, someone's going to try to get to it. That's what I'm seeing. To me, as a Gen X, we need to make sure that we have a plan for our medication. But just know that there's a bunch of these stores that are going to be closing this year if they haven't already. And I advise, you know, go through your insurance if you have it, and figure out, you know, get as much of it as you can on a delivered to your door plan. I mean, because they're part of the big box corporate system, and I'm not sad that may leave room for mom and pop on the corner who's actually gonna stay open. And I hope that mom and pop survived through all the mess that these big box stores have caused. So put in your comments, let me know what you think. Hopefully we just are getting healthier and more conscious, and we're taking more supplements instead of needing as many prescription drugs too. All right, have a great day, and let me know what you think. And if you would, do all the things, like, follow, share, blah, blah, blah. Thanks a lot.